Hey everyone! Welcome to Update X24H, your go-to channel for the latest news, hottest dramas, breaking stories, and all the buzz from the world of entertainment. We're here to keep you updated, entertained, and always in the loop. Hit that subscribe button and join our growing family, because here at Update X24H, we bring you the news that matters, the drama you love, and the stories you can't miss. Thanks for being part of our community. Let's stay connected, stay updated, and keep the good vibes rolling. Imagine this: you're at the peak of your career, adored by millions, your smile lighting up screens across Asia. But behind the scenes, you're fighting a silent battle, one you never thought would be exposed to the world, until tonight. This is Update X24H, and today's revelation is shaking the Chinese entertainment industry to its core. It began as an ordinary evening, the kind where fans gather online with excitement, ready to laugh, chat, and feel just a little closer to the people they admire most. Zhao Lusi's live stream was supposed to be lighthearted, another moment in her busy schedule where she could connect with the millions who have followed her rise from fresh-faced newcomer to one of China's most beloved actresses. Her warm smile and easy charm drew viewers in instantly, but beneath that calm exterior, something seemed different. Her eyes lingered on the camera for just a moment longer. Her voice carried a weight that didn't quite match the cheerful backdrop. And then, as if she had been holding back for far too long, she began to speak. What followed was not the playful banter her fans expected. Instead, Zhao Lusi's words revealed a private battle she had been fighting for years, an unspoken story of relentless demands, suffocating schedules, and the quiet erosion of her own sense of self. She spoke not with anger, but with a calm, almost fragile honesty that made her confession all the more powerful. Every sentence felt like it had been locked away, carried silently through endless days of smiling for the cameras while carrying a truth she could not share. Then came the moment that took everyone by surprise. Her voice softened even further, and she mentioned a name: Liu Yuning. For a brief second, the live stream paused in collective disbelief. It wasn't just her story, it was his too. Zhao Lusi revealed that he had endured much of the same, perhaps even worse, under the same management. The revelation was so sudden, so raw, that it left viewers frozen in their seats, trying to process what they had just heard. There was no drama in her delivery, no attempt to sensationalize what she was saying. That, perhaps, is what made it impossible to ignore. This wasn't a scandal being spun for headlines. It was a human truth, quietly placed into the hands of those willing to listen. In that moment, the live stream transformed from entertainment into something far greater. A window into the hidden costs of fame, and a rare act of courage in an industry that so often thrives on silence. As the ripples of Zhao Lusi's revelation spread across social media, what had started as a single voice began to stir an entire wave of whispers, hints, and cautious confirmations from within the industry. Her words were no longer just her own. They had become a mirror, reflecting the unspoken experiences of countless artists who had endured similar treatment, but had remained silent out of fear. Behind the glittering lights and carefully staged public appearances, there was another reality, one defined by contracts that felt more like shackles, by unrelenting expectations that drained not just energy but spirit, and by an ever-present sense that individuality was a luxury few could afford. Liu Yuning's name now carried a new weight. To his fans, he had always been the embodiment of composure and professionalism, a man whose career trajectory seemed to be a testament to both talent and discipline. But Zhao Lusi's disclosure cracked open a different truth, that even the most successful faces in the industry might be carrying burdens they dare not share. People began revisiting his past interviews, his public appearances, searching for signs they might have missed, moments when his smile seemed just a little too practiced, or when his words hinted at exhaustion he could not openly admit. The involvement of senior executive Zhang Shi in these allegations only deepened the intrigue and concern. Those familiar with the inner workings of talent agencies knew his influence was vast, his connections stretching across film, television, and music. But now, questions about his leadership style and ethical boundaries began to surface, no longer whispered in private rooms but debated in the open. Could the same man who had been praised for building stars also be responsible for breaking them? Industry insiders spoke cautiously at first about similar patterns they had observed: artists being pressured to work while ill, personal relationships monitored for brand image, creative choices overridden for profit margins. It became clear that Zhao Lusi's confession was not an isolated grievance, but part of a much larger conversation about how power is wielded in the entertainment business. And yet, amidst the growing storm, there was something unexpectedly unifying about it all. Fans, fellow actors, and even casual observers found themselves on the same side, rallying not just behind two individuals, but behind the idea that talent should be nurtured, not exploited, and that no amount of fame should come at the cost of one's humanity. Beneath the headlines, the trending hashtags, and the heated debates, there is a quieter truth, one that strips away the glamour and makes this story deeply human. It is the image of Zhao Lusi, not as the beloved actress gracing posters and magazine covers, but as a young woman alone in her apartment, her voice trembling as she speaks into a camera, unsure of how her words will be received. It is the thought of Liu Yuning, hearing his name spoken in that same live stream, feeling both the shock of exposure and the strange relief that someone else finally understood his silent struggle. In those moments, they were no longer untouchable stars. They were simply people, carrying the weight of emotions that so many of us have known. Fear of losing everything, frustration at being unheard, the longing to be treated with basic respect. What makes this resonate so deeply is how familiar the underlying emotions are, even for those of us far removed from the entertainment world. Who hasn't, at some point, felt powerless in the face of authority? Who hasn't stayed quiet, swallowing pain or injustice, because speaking out seemed too dangerous? Zhao Lusi's voice, raw and unfiltered, tapped into that universal experience. Her tears were not just about her contracts or her schedules. They were about dignity, about the human need to feel valued beyond the numbers on a profit sheet. Liu Yuning's part in this story adds another layer to its humanity. For years, fans have seen him as a figure of grace under pressure, the consummate professional. Yet here we learn that he, too, has carried his own silent burdens, choosing composure over confrontation, even when it came at personal cost. That choice, whether to endure or to resist, is one many people make daily in their own lives, whether in workplaces, relationships, or family dynamics. His silence wasn't weakness. It was the calculation of someone weighing risks in a system that doesn't easily forgive dissent. And there is the loneliness that comes with such silence. Zhao Lusi's confession that she and Liu Yuning had spoken privately about their shared experiences reveals something quietly powerful, that even in isolation, people reach for connection. We all seek out those rare individuals who understand without needing explanations, whose empathy becomes a lifeline in the darkest moments. Perhaps that is why this story has moved so many. It is not only about celebrity scandal or corporate misconduct. It is about the courage it takes to tell the truth, the vulnerability of being seen without the protective armor of an image, and the fragile strength that comes from knowing you are not alone. In watching their story unfold, people see parts of themselves, past struggles, present fears, future hopes. It reminds us that behind every public figure is a private person, and behind every glossy photograph is a reality we might never guess. Fame may change the stage, but it does not erase the most human of needs: to be heard, to be believed, and to be treated with compassion. The question now is, who will speak next? And will the industry change before more stories come to light? One thing is certain, this isn't the end of the story. It's the beginning of a movement, and you can be sure Update X24H will be here, bringing you every update, every twist, every truth. If this story moved you, shocked you, or opened your eyes to the reality behind the fame, don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell icon so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, thank you for caring, and remember, the truth is worth hearing. Stay tuned to Update X24H.